No matter what year it is or what is happening in the world, if you go really, really silent, you will always hear this. Just give it a minute. There it is. See, it just happens. I could come on one of these videos with the head of CM Punk after I recently decapitated it from his body, and somebody in the comments would go, I don't know, I think CM Punk may be about to be ready to return to WWE. I know that was way too dark, but I really wanted to make my point. But just to throw another curveball into the mix, it does seem as if Vince McMahon is refusing to work with one CM Punk, and on top of that, he's also refusing to work with one Alberto Del Rio. Why? Here's why. Coming from the pages of this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, one Dave Meltzer wrote, regarding reports of interest in CM Punk for WrestleMania, Vince McMahon labeled him the one man I just can't do business with, pal. And nobody at the top, including one Paul Heyman, has argued the point or pushed for him. Punk's agent did try to open a conversation and was turned down. It was described that the Fox gig was something Fox wanted and WWE allowed it as a concession, not wanting to make waves with their brand new network happy-tammy relationship fun time. But this was limited to one a month. Now look at that, there is a lot of information to take away there, but obviously the key point is that, yes, let's underline it, WWE, or more specifically, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, wants nothing to do with CM Punk. And straight away, your question is why? But the good thing you clicked this video, because that's what I do. Well, I ask why, and then I tell you here's why. The most interesting part of that paragraph for me, though, is this idea that Punk's agent did indeed reach out to World Wrestling Entertainment. Now, I don't know whether that ties into WWE backstage or not, but it seems like a very strange plan or a very strange direction to go in, to think to yourself, well, I would like to return to wrestling in an in-ring capacity, but before then I shall appear as an analyst. Maybe it was Punk trying to calm the waters, or maybe, as it was reported back in the day, it was just Fox going, hey, CM Punk would be great at this, we should try and get him on here. And at the time, everyone was like, well, now we've done this, we've completely ruined a proper return for Punk, what is wrong with us? Now, I don't think that's the case for 1 second. I mean, it's not like WWE backstage is doing record viewers and watching numbers go through the sky. And let's be honest, if you were in an arena, or even if you were sat at home, and all of a sudden you did hear, it's the opening riffs to Cult of Personality, everybody would lose their mind, social media would melt down, and even we here at What Culture Wrestling would do at least 42,722 videos on CM Punk, because people would just be clicking away, they would be desperate for whatever they could get their hands on. So even today it would be massive, because it's one thing sitting in a studio, it's another coming out in your pants to have a wrestle with another man. That's where the money is. As we can see though, WWE seems to only have agreed to this because one, again, Fox was their brand new buddy, and they didn't want to upset them, and two, they made the compromise, I suppose, that he could be a guest, but he couldn't be a regular. Throw in this Vince scenario and CM Punk has hit a brick wall, even more so because not even Paul Heyman, the man he used to be super tight with, thought this was a good hill to die on. Essentially, ain't nobody gonna be pitching any plans for the return of CM. Straight up then, everything that has happened since CM Punk left WWE has clearly hurt Vince McMahon to a certain degree, because if you go back to them, there were loads of people, there were a load of whispers, where it's like, actually Vince is cool. If he does want to return, the person stopping all of this is one Triple H. Now in the year 2020 though, after lawsuits and podcasts and things said on Twitter and other little jibes here and there, McMahon has changed his mind and he doesn't want to do any kind of business with him, even though that would probably mean better buy rates, it would probably be good merchandise sales, and Raw or SmackDown ratings, you'd have to assume, would go up. Now, I don't know whether that would be short term or whether it would be sustained, but WWE is so desperate for anything going in this direction, you'd think they'd be open to anything. Point is, there would be some benefit to it, and somehow the man that has always been willing to put personal issues aside if it helped his company's bottom line has decided here he is not interested. And I think that's pretty damn big, even though, yes, it is WWE, it is the world of pro wrestling, so of course you never say never, that old cliche, but look, let's just do it now. Ultimate Warrior, he was never coming back. Bret Hart, he was never coming back. Hulk Hogan, he was never coming back. Bruno Sammartino, he was never coming back. I could literally spend the rest of the video just going through names. It'd be boring for you, it'd be boring for me, and it would just get weird. So I do think it stands to reason that the door isn't shut entirely, but if you had asked me before this news report how I thought this was gonna go, it would be like, well, I imagine WWE would be interested, that CM Punk don't want to do it, but now apparently, maybe, CM Punk does want to do it, and it's WWE saying no. I mean, I just can't keep up with this year. Nothing makes sense. As for Alberto Del Rio, well, that kind of just makes sense, doesn't it? You don't know, just go and Google the previous 2 times he left the company, and he just seems like a hot tamale that will bring controversy wherever he goes. Also, why would you even want to bring him back? Like, Alberto Del Rio was good when he was teaming with Ricardo Rodriguez, then we stopped that, and he never really found his place again, and when he came back, he was doing that Mex America thing, whatever it was. It hurts my brain just to think about it. I would imagine that any kind of company would be best just leaving him over here as you go over there. And the reason I do bring this up is that in a recent interview, Alberto said he's on great terms with WWE and the door is open and something will happen soon, only for WWE now to turn around and go, that is not true. Shut up, Del Rio. You don't know what you're talking about. He's just Bad News Brown. That's how I'm going to sum it up. He's Bad News Brown. I don't mean the wrestler, Bad News Brown. I mean, he's just bad news. Not Wade Barrett. We're getting off track here. Just go read. Go Google, read news. So while, of course, you're still hoping that the straight edge one may return to WWE, he is officially, or so it seems, on a list that is called Vince McMahon's I won't do business with these people list. And number 1 is CM Punk, and number 2 is Alberto Del Rio, and number 3 is probably me. It probably just says bald asshole because he's sick of me running my mouth. It would be very fair. Although some people think I already do business with WWE, they truly believe that Vince McMahon rings me up once a week. He goes, hey pal, I wanted to give AEW a down. And I go, yes, Vince McMahon, whatever you want. It's not happening. I know you think it is happening. If Vince McMahon ring me up telling me to get golden ups and brown downs, I would use it as a joke because it'd be hilarious. We kind of hinted at it just there as well. I would like to ask the question, if you are a professional wrestler in a WWE locker room, get in touch. Do you even want to see CM Punk walk back into that kind of environment? Because you can go out there, and a lot of people that used to be very tight buddy, friendship with Mr. Punk now say, when he left the company, he stopped talking to me. I don't understand. What did I do? I kept calling CM. I kept calling, and you never returned my phone calls. How am I meant to get through a day with all these feelings, with all these emotions, when you don't want to talk to me? Of course, one of those people was Paul Heyman. We mentioned him earlier. Those two were like as thick as peas. That's not a thing. As thick as thieves, not peas. Peas is something else. They were as thick as thieves, and now they don't really have any communication. To the point, Paul Heyman ain't going to back the CM Punk. So I don't know. I mean, as a fan, I'd love to see it. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, awesome. CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan, awesome. CM Punk versus John Cena in a part-timer versus part-timer match, awesome. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, CM Punk versus Edge, CM Punk versus Randy Orton. We could do this for the rest of our lives, but as of this moment, it just seems like all the jigsaw pieces are scattered even further across the floor, and my mum's about to come in and tell me off and say, Simon, why didn't you clear the jigsaw pieces up? And I'm like, it wasn't me, it was my sister, and yet somehow I still get grounded. If right now you're like, what the hell is Simon Miller talking about? I have been trapped in my house for a very long time. I will leave you with this though, I will leave you with this. Maybe this is just the exception to the rule, but not the exception to the rule that you were expecting to begin with. Maybe all of those names, they come back. And other names you can think of, they come back too, but the one person that never rebuilds his bridge, the one person that never mends the fence is CM Punk, and we'll never see him in WWE again. And there's rumors out there that say he's burnt his bridge with AEW too, so maybe he actually wants to wrestle, but we don't get it. You do with that what you will. Now, of course, he'll be resting in like 6 days' time, and I look like a goof. That's all right, I've been looking like a goof for the last 20 or so years. I can keep doing it now. You've got the information. You are very welcome. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you think about CM Punk, Alberto Del Rio. Nice and simple. Will they come back to the WWE? You say yes. Will they not come back to the WWE? You say no. If you don't know, you just do the shrug emoji. All of it is okay. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to What Culture Wrestling. The button is right there. Head over to whatculture.com, read yourself some articles, follow What Culture on Twitter, What Culture WWE, and watch more videos here on What Culture Wrestling. My name is Simon from What Culture, and as I always say when I do videos about CM Punk, I just want him to be happy. That's all I want. I don't need to see him back in the ring. I don't need to see him on WWE backstage. I mean, I will watch if he's on. I find his analysis quite interesting, but as long as he's got a smile on his face, as long as he can go home every night and feel content with the world, that's all I want from him. The reason I say this is when I do CM Punk videos, some people think I'm saying he must come back, otherwise I'm gonna get really mad. I don't care what he does. He's his own human being. He's his own individual. We've always had Money in the Bank 2011, which was great. Somehow almost a decade ago, 10 years ago, don't know how that happened. I always like to underline that. And now I'm gonna shoot off in my rocket and head back to the stars where I have my home planet. Apparently I now think I'm Chris Statlander, but what you gonna do, brother? What you gonna